In the dim glow of a rainy evening, Elena Voss, the iron-fisted CEO of Vostech, clutched her side as she stumbled into the empty lobby of her gleaming skyscraper. "Hurry, make it fast," she gasped, her voice a ragged whisper echoing off the marble floors. Blood seeped through her designer blouse from a freak accident, a shattered glass pane from her office window during a sudden storm. She thought this was it, the end of her empire-building life, alone and in agony. But then, from the shadows, emerged Marcus Hale, the quiet single dad who mopped these floors every night, his mop still in hand. What happened next would shatter her world and rebuild it in ways she never imagined. Marcus froze for a split second, his tired eyes widening behind his wire-rimmed glasses. He was no stranger to emergencies. Once a promising surgeon, he'd walked away from it all after losing his wife in a car crash 5 years ago, leaving him to raise their young daughter, Lily, alone. Now, he scrubbed toilets and emptied trash bins to make ends meet, trading scrubs for a janitor's uniform. But old instincts die hard. Dropping the mop, he rushed to her side. "Ma'am, stay with me," he said calmly, his voice steady despite the panic rising in his chest. Elena, vision blurring, could only plead again, "Just, make it fast." "I can't." She meant end the pain, whatever it took. But Marcus heard something deeper, a cry from a soul as broken as her body. He knelt beside her, assessing the wound with practiced hands. It was bad, a deep laceration, possibly nicking an artery. No time for an ambulance in this downpour, traffic would doom her. "I'm not letting you go like this," he muttered, ripping off his shirt to staunch the bleeding. Elena's eyes fluttered, her mind flashing to boardrooms and billion-dollar deals, wondering why her life felt so empty now. As he worked, memories flooded Marcus. Lily was waiting at home with the babysitter, probably drawing pictures of superheroes like she always did. "Daddy saves the day," she'd say, not knowing how true it once was. After Sarah's death, he'd vowed never to hold a life in his hands again. The guilt of not being there for her accident had crushed him. But here, with Elena's pulse weakening under his fingers, he couldn't turn away. He grabbed the first aid kit from his cart, a basic one he'd augmented with supplies from his old life. Needles, sutures, he'd kept them hidden, just in case. Elena's world spun. She was used to commanding rooms, firing executives without a second thought, building a tech empire that revolutionized AI but left her isolated. No family, no friends, just power. "Why, you?" she whispered, her plea turning to confusion as he threaded a needle. Marcus glanced up, his face etched with quiet determination. "Because no one deserves to die alone," he replied simply. In that moment, as he began stitching the wound with steady precision, Elena saw not a janitor, but a man who'd faced his own hell. The minutes stretched like hours. Marcus talked to keep her conscious, his voice a soothing anchor. "Tell me about your day," he said, though he knew who she was, the boss who'd cut janitorial staff last quarter, nearly costing him his job. Elena, delirious from blood loss, mumbled about her latest merger, how it would make her untouchable. But then, vulnerability slipped through. "It's never enough. I push everyone away." Marcus nodded, tying off the suture. "I get that. After my wife died, I pushed the world away too. Thought it was safer. But my little girl, she pulled me back." Elena's eyes met his, tears mixing with rain from her soaked hair. The pain ebbed as he bandaged her, but a deeper ache surfaced, the loneliness she'd armored herself against. Sirens wailed in the distance, he'd called 911 between stitches. Paramedics burst in, stunned to find the wound already stabilized. "You saved her life," one said, clapping Marcus on the back. Elena, loaded onto the stretcher, reached out weakly. "Who, are you really?" In the hospital that night, Elena Voss lay in a sterile bed, dripping, her mind racing. The doctors confirmed it. Without immediate intervention, she'd have bled out. Marcus Hale wasn't just a janitor, he was Dr. Marcus Hale, once a rising star in emergency medicine. A quick search on her phone revealed his story: accolades, then tragedy, then disappearance from the medical world. Guilt gnawed at her. She'd overlooked people like him, treating them as invisible cogs in her machine. The next morning, Marcus arrived at work as usual, Lily's lunchbox in hand for her school drop-off later. But the lobby buzzed differently. Whispers followed him: "That's the guy who saved the CEO." He ignored it, heading to his locker. Then, an executive approached. "Ms. Voss wants to see you. Now." Up in the penthouse office, Elena sat behind her desk, bandaged but unbowed. "Dr. Hale," she said, her voice steady but eyes soft. Marcus shifted uncomfortably. "Just Marcus now." She leaned forward. "You could have let me die. After how I've run this place, cuts, layoffs. Why didn't you?" He thought of Lily, of Sarah's last words in the wreckage: "Live for her." "Because life's too short for grudges," he said. "And everyone deserves a second chance." Elena's facade cracked. She'd built walls to protect herself after a childhood of poverty, clawing to the top alone. But Marcus's quiet strength mirrored her own buried pain. "I want to help," she said suddenly. "Your daughter, Lily, right? Medical bills from your wife's accident? I'll cover them. And, come back to medicine. I'll fund a clinic in your name." Marcus hesitated. Challenges loomed, trusting again, balancing fatherhood with a demanding career. But Elena persisted, sharing her own story over coffee, abandoned by parents, forging success through sheer will. They bonded over loss, her corporate armor melting into genuine connection. Weeks turned to months. Marcus returned to surgery part-time, Elena sponsoring his clinic for underserved families. She visited often, playing with Lily, who called her Aunt Ellie. Romance sparked subtly, a shared dinner, a knowing glance, but it was the emotional healing that mattered most. One evening, as rain pattered again, Elena confessed in the lobby where it began. "I pleaded to make it fast because I was tired of fighting alone." Marcus took her hand. "You don't have to anymore." Their kiss sealed a new chapter, the billionaire CEO and the quiet single dad, proving that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's the bridge to true strength. And so, in the end, what stunned Elena wasn't just Marcus's skill, but his heart. It reminded her, and everyone, that in our busiest lives, a single act of kindness can rewrite destinies. If this story touched you, hit that like button, it means the world. And subscribe for more tales of hope and humanity. You never know when one might change your day. Remember, no matter how fast life rushes, pause for the quiet heroes around you. They might just save your world.